Of course, tonight our biggest story has to do with the announcement by the governor of the central bank, which happened in the last few hours. Before then, though, let's get to this Takrady, this story that's coming through from Takrady. The suspected kingpin of a kidnapping gang who escaped from a Takrady cell last Sunday has been rearrested. Samuel Wilson Utodeg was picked up from his hideout in the Western Region capital Thursday night. The suspect, who the police described as dangerous, was first arrested by the BNI a week ago in an uncompleted building at Kansarado, a suburb of the Sekondi Takrady metropolis, and handed over to the police in connection with a number of kidnappings there. DSP Olivia Irabna Adiku speaks for the Western Region Police Command.
When he escaped the cell on 30th, our men who were on duty were given the 10 days to look for him. Police also had some intelligence. So yesterday around 1 a.m., we had intelligence that he was hiding in an uncompleted building between two villages called Kansarado and Nkofo. And indeed, police went there, and after some search, they found him there, and he was rearrested. Currently, he's giving some leads, and he said that the victims he kidnapped are in Accra. So as I speak to you, our men are with him on the way to Accra. The information we heard was that he used an hacksaw blade to cut the ventilation window in the cell and escape through the ventilation window.
Now, some residents of the metropolis, meanwhile, staged a demonstration on Friday over the kidnapping incidents there. Those who took part are mainly relatives of children said to have been kidnapped. 7 children in all are said to have gone missing, and the worried parents and relatives say, though they've paid the ransoms demanded by the kidnappers, they are yet to be reunited with their children.
Because they can't tell us that the kidnapper was jailed in police custody and he was able to escape. Why? Why? So we want answers. They have to explain to us why the kidnapper was able to escape from that cell.
But we are told he has been arrested.
That one we don't know.
So where are our girls? He has been arrested. Where are our girls? We can't find them. We want our girls. That is what
That's
we want.
why we are
Whether he has been arrested or whatever. When they arrested him first, he confirmed that so why did that? They didn't force him to go and bring the girls. They didn't do anything. He escaped and they've arrested him. What give us the assurance that we will get our girls? That is what we want. Only our girls. He has been arrested or whatever. We don't say we want our girls. That is what we want.
It's not just sitting at their office giving us assurance. They should come to the community. They should educate us. They should team up with NCC. Tell us the mode of operation. The people, how do they operate? How are they kidnapping the guests?
The Auditor General Daniel Domlevo says Economic and Organized Crime Office has shown interest in helping to retrieve some embezzled and misappropriated funds back to the state. In an interview with Maxwell Agwagwamse, Domlevo stated Ghanaians should expect more action and prosecution of persons found to have defaulted in their payments. As he says, the Special Prosecutor Martin Emidu has also expressed interest to deal with the corruption and fraud aspect of the recovery process. The Auditor General has recovered over 67 million Ghana cedis for the state after issuing certificates to 112 organizations and individuals who authorized payments or fraudulently misappropriated funds.
Those amounts have been paid back into the government chest, more or less, the consolidated fund.
Okay. Yeah. So what is left to be collected?
If you paid, if you look at the report, that comes close to 500 million, which are in certificates which have not yet been recovered. Now we are entreating the Attorney General, who if you remember, in Occupy Ghana versus Attorney General, the Supreme Court actually issued consequential orders. And the last consequential order was to Attorney General that he should prosecute those people. And the Auditor General's job is to issue the certificates against the people. I don't have the civil right to go to court to recover the money. The good news is that the Yoko boss, Mr. KK Amwa, he came to my office to take my copy of the report because he has heard of the report and he's interested in collecting those monies. So he came and took a copy of my report. I've also had discussions with the special prosecutor on issues where these issues or the cases border on corruption and fraud. He is also ready to take it up. So we are going to see, I hope, more action.
We are told that for public officials who've not declared their assets, they would have their end of service, benefits blocked. You want to throw more light on that for us?
Yes. Under Article 286 of the Constitution, it requires that some office holders from the president up to a certain level must declare their assets before taking office. Okay. And after every 4 years, they have to renew their declaration. And when you are exiting or you are leaving office, you must declare your asset. When people are in office, it's easier to enforce it against them because they know they may be removed from office or you go to church and they will be forced to choose between whether you continue holding the office or not holding the office. When you come before I clear you, you must declare your assets because you are holding a constitutional office. So this is also a good message to all public office holders that don't assume that you can decide to leave your office and come to Auditor General to get your end of service benefit cleared. It will not happen. You will definitely have to declare your assets and liabilities before you get your end of service benefit.
Okay. Now, government has set August 2019 as deadline to complete a gas infrastructure project to utilize excess gas produced by energy company ENI. The minority in parliament had accused government of causing a recurring loss of $28 million for failure to utilize the gas produced due to the absence of the infrastructure. Head of communications at the Energy Ministry, Nana Kofi Damwa, however, maintains this cost could have been more if not for the intervention of government. There is more in the following report.
Ghana's agreement with ENI requires that it pays for 90% of the gas produced, whether it has use for it or not. ENI currently produces gas in the region of 180 million standard cubic feet per day, with Ghana utilizing 100 million standard cubic feet at a cost of $28 million. Minority spokesperson on Mines and Energy, Adam Mutawakilu, maintains the cost being incurred while the excess gas is not utilized could have been avoided.
It is therefore surprising that Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia government, after being in power for 2 long years, want to blame the NDC for the mess they have put this country into due to lack of gas infrastructure to transport the gas from the west to the east. It is also very important to note, ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure the maximum use of the ENI gas in the Western Enclave, the NDC government had planned that the 450 megawatts Cap power plant was to be stationed at Takoradi and not to be brought to Tema, because there was already 250 megawatt plant in Tema. So civil work were to be constructed in Takoradi so that the Cap power ship would dock at Takoradi.
He wants government to take responsibility for the current situation.
This is a clear sign of desperation to ensure that they drag NDC into their failure, and we will not be part. We have taken the necessary steps to ensure that if this government, if this power, the ENI gas in June, all this infrastructure should have been in place. But they came and they did not continue where we had left on.
Head of Communications and Public Affairs at the Energy Ministry, Nana Kofi Damwa, however, disagrees with the minority.
The Car Power Plant relocation project is currently ongoing. We were in last month, December, we went to the Honorable Minister of Energy, Honorable John Peter, who led a team, a delegation to go and inspect works. As we speak, the poles that are going to carry the lines from the car power ship to the Abuazi Power Enclave are being erected. We are also setting up the platform to ensure that when the car power ship is relocated, it is done in the secondary level base.
So when exactly will we complete the infrastructure?
We're looking at as at present, August of 2019. But let me state also that the gas is not gas that is being wasted. It is being paid for, yes, because the infrastructure is not completed. We are storing it in a way, we are reinjecting it such that at a later date when the government of Ghana needs it or the people of Ghana need it, we can just get it from the producers who have already produced the gas anyway.
Experts see a successful relocation of the car power ship to Takoradi, where the gas is produced, could be the surest way to solve the problem.
Founder and leader of the Glorious Word and Power Ministries International has accused the opposition National Democratic Congress of being behind an attack on his church by some irate youth. The irate youth, armed with machetes, stormed Reverend Usu Bempe's church Wednesday after he prophesied that some key leaders in Ghana, including the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Osman Nuhu Shaributu, will die in 2019. He has been widely condemned for his claims, but speaking in Tri on the Kusi Seng on Asempa FM, he blamed the opposition National Democratic Congress NDC for the attacks.
Yeye Christopher ayo Ghana, yeni Muslims ayo Ghana, yeti asumdwem pa wo. Ye wasumdwem papa asempa na meka kire wo. Enti di enti no se e family Usu Bempa so e ma problems asi between Christians and Muslims. Enye Muslims, but a political party. Omo bote nyina ne se me can say 2020 election no ombe lose no and no I'm telling you a NDC no mo hihyanse nyina so yenim adenti no mutimi soma obi efri salaga eba nkran krom hanom nipa ko make us hotel se omra emekumi Usu Bempa assassination. NDC, I'm telling you.
Now, Reverend Usu Bempa meanwhile says he will apologize to the National Chief Imam for his utterance, explaining the Chief Imam as being like a father to him.
Me obi nim so Usu Bempa de. Sebi. Me buade ba me nsra de. Ba papa no ho. Na me anim ni. Wa ma me hu so ye father. Na me wi a me kire. Papa na ya ade bi a sebe. Asofo kura mpo a metimi di mani ato o so sa asem ba ko mbetimi kura ba mafa no o ma anya sa ya papa chief imam ankasa no se ye ko nhyiamu bi ne so ohumia otumi soma ema ne mrante bi befrɛ me eba obo se sofo ho te sɛ me se popi mpacho ye opema sem too much. And then I make an video. I make a show. Papa. Sir, ye chief in me, our national asset, our Ghana. Me dear need young man was asking me by you, papa. Why, ya dear mammy, who would me? A dear na papa ye. Or say, mean small be a so be uncle yet. Osofo no boni bi to mo yesa no omunyai mensuma obia munyai muntwa so papa na kire se ampa oho no for peace papa na me ehu se wo ye papa pania sebe owo man mu a ye betimi de ehu ato no so ama asumdua tena o man mu.
Well, the National Peace Council has descended heavily on doomed prophets and their prophecies in what is the latest in a string of condemnations for the founder of Glorious Word and Power Ministries, Reverend Usu Bempa. And I have the statement from the National Peace Council here. It says the National Peace Council has followed media reports of some religious prophecies and public reactions that have ensued with the potential of generating fear and panic in the country. The so-called prophecies in the last few days have given all of us concerns to be worried about sustaining the peaceful coexistence among different religious groups in the country. It is worthy of note that Article 21C of the 1992 Constitution guarantees all persons in Ghana freedom to practice any religion and to manifest such practice. However, the provision is qualified by Article 12 subsection 2, which states that every person in Ghana, whatever his race, place of origin, political opinion, color, religion, creed, or gender, shall be entitled to the fundamental human rights and freedoms of the individual contained in this chapter, but subject to respect for the rights and freedoms of others and for the public interest. It is in line with the above constitutional provision that the National Peace Council condemns in no uncertain terms the so-called prophecies making rounds in the media declaring the death of some key statesmen and women in the country. The National Peace Council is deeply concerned and calls on all religious leaders to conduct the activities with the highest circumspection and responsibility to ensure that in the exercise of their religious freedom, they do not undermine and violate the rights of other citizens. And they go on to say that the National Peace Council also appeals to all Ghanaians not to resort to any criminal activity in attempt to respond to these so-called prophets. Let us remember that it is always better and productive to use non-violent means to address our issues. The Council appeals to the media to restrain themselves as much as possible from giving space to some of these so-called prophets whose business may only be to draw attention to themselves. The Council also appeals to citizens to restrain themselves from patronizing the services of these so-called prophets so as not to give them legitimacy and endorsement for the sake of national cohesion and harmony. And thank you, and may God continue to bless Ghana with his eternal peace. And it's signed by the Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, who's a board chairman of the National Peace Council. We also have the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service, meanwhile taking over investigations into the attack. Now, they have also issued statement, and the statement reads, following the violent attack on Glorious Word Power Ministries International, founded by Reverend Isaac Osu-Bempah on January 2, 2019, one suspect was arrested by the Accra Region Police at Odoko to assist in investigation. Consequently, the CID headquarters is taking over investigations into the case as the suspect had been granted police inquiry bail on 03/01/19, which is 3rd January 2019, to be reporting to the CID headquarters for further investigation. Meanwhile, the police administration has observed with concern a worrying trend of prophecies made by religious persons about the death of certain individuals, which have the tendency of breaching public peace and causing fear and panic in the country. The police administration is therefore cautioning the persons who make such pronouncements to be mindful of the security implications of their utterances. Also, media reportage on such pronouncements and the interpretations put on the pronouncements in the media is also disturbing. As a result, the police administration is cautioning editors, media practitioners, discussants, and owners of media establishments to be circumspect and exercise the necessary editorial responsibility to ensure that the media is not used as a tool for aiding breach of the peace and causing fear and panic. Police also condemn any retaliatory acts by opposing factions and warns that causing harm, damage to property, rioting, threatening, etc. is a crime. They disturb public peace. The public is therefore advised to report actions which are likely to breach public peace or cause fear and panic to the nearest police station. And it's signed by David Eklu, his Assistant Commissioner of Police, the Director General of Police Public Affairs. Moving on to other stories, and a laboratory test result of an alleged HIV-infected blood administered claimed by a patient at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital has shown no trace of the virus. The Health Ministry directed the test after the relative of a patient claimed the blood was HIV-infected. Efwa Evans Chinri was at a program to present the report of the committee, a committee tasked to investigate the matter.
The conclusion of the committee reads as follows: that the committee concludes that the test results indicated that the blood units in question did not contain any active pathogen that could cause HIV or syphilis.
The committee was set up in November last year after reports emerged on social media that 2 different blood samples from the hospital's blood bank had tested positive for HIV and syphilis at a private clinic in Kumasi. The committee was chaired by a representative from the National Public Health Reference Laboratory, Dr. David Oparia Japon, and included representatives from the Police Service, the Food and Drugs Authority, and the National AIDS Control Program. Based on the committee's findings, some recommendations were made, including allowing only health professionals to handle blood. Dr. Ohiniba Owusu-Danso is the Chief Executive Officer of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital.
The recommendations and the conclusion from the committee that was read is from the findings that were established to the processes. Let me indicate that the recommendations especially are not specifically for Komfo-Anokye, because the committee found out that it borders somehow on policy as far as handling of blood is concerned in the country, and is the reason why those recommendations, the minister indicated that he is going to study in depth the report and see how, in terms of implementation, the sector-wide in health will actually adopt various policies to circumvent such publications in future, and also to improve on our blood safety services.
Health Minister Kwekwaji Mamenu says such issues can be avoided if health facilities are provided with the necessary logistics.
I want to assure not only management and board of Komfo-Anokye of our enthusiasm to have received the report and our eagerness to actually implement the recommendations contained in this report. We also going to collaborate with the National Blood Service and those who matter in the health sector to ensure that if these things are good for Komfo-Anokye, it might also be as good for all other health facilities, from Ghana Health Service to the Christian facilities to the quasi institutions and the private sector at large, so that our regulatory agencies will follow things to make sure that what is good for blood transfusion to avoid a lot of challenges that we may face with blood transfusion.
Mr. Jimamenu says he will study the report and make it available to the media.
Vice President of the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs, Na Dikwini Domale, has expressed worry about the huge cost of funerals in the region. He believes the higher cost of funerals is making bereaved families poorer. Na Dikwini, who is also the chief of Dafiama, made the statement at the annual Douye Festival at Dafiama. JoyNews' Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Dafiama.
This demonstration shows Douye Festival is here. It is celebrated to prevent any devil from entering the land. Ash is mixed with water and painted on walls, faces and hands of the indigents amid singing. The high cost of funerals is an age-old problem in the region. Paramount Chief of Dafiama, Na Dikwini Domale, wants the state of affairs reversed.
Feasting, partying, and merrymaking constitute the main feature of our funeral celebrations. Our traditional system of mourning entails mainly the use of the xylophone and other musical instruments. This unique musical instrument in particular is gradually being relegated to the background by recorded music, which, now chairman, is entirely alien to our culture.
The festival showcases the tradition and rich culture of the people of the area. The people use the occasion to thank God and for his protection. It was held on the theme, Our Culture, Our Heritage, the Bedrock for National Development.
My colleague chiefs and other traditional leaders, the churches, mosques, and other stakeholders, the time has arrived for us to initiate steps with a view to preventing an inevitable extension of our time-honored social practices in respect of funerals. Having come to this conclusion, it is imperative for us to review also the unduly long periods of keeping the departed in the mortuary and the equally lengthy periods of laying in state.
The issue of bad roads came up during the event. Upper West Region Minister Suleiman Al-Hassan noted that work is underway to fix the roads.
So hopefully 2019 we will have enough space to go into road constructions. And I want to assure you that the Fiema traditional area or your whole district, the Fiema Ifra-Buse district, will not be left out.
Also present at the festival was the Fiema Bure Issa District Chief Executive Nadi Murusanda, who spoke on the fallen standards of education in the district. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Dafiema.
Now, the mother of Manchester United striker Pogba has been giving an ambassadorial appointment in Guinea. Gary Smith will be coming up next with sports, and he has all the details. Stay tuned.